Work Trip is a game I bought on Steam recently.
Although I guess game is kind of debatable. Most people would probably call this a walking simulator, a weird sort of genre of gaming that also exists as a distinctly unique form of interactive media. I've been getting increasingly interested in exploring more walking simulators, as I feel they often can be just hand-waved off as not games, therefore not worth the time to explore critically, and I get that they might not be something everyone's interested in since they are distinctly pretty different from more interactive games, but as someone who finds them interesting, I think they warrant being explored. Work Trip I bought on a whim because it was on sale for 49 cents and I figured, why not?
In the game, your car has been wrecked by a gigantic, or medium, a tree. Your car has been wrecked by a tree.
As someone who has a lot of anxiety about my own car and a giant hole in my muffler that I'm waiting to get fixed, you know what? We're off to a relatable start.
Throughout the game, you control with WASD, and your only other piece of control is having the ability to sprint. Well, it certainly fits the bare bones controls that you find in most walking sims, but what about the other elements of the game? Visually, it's fine to look at for the most part. I like the chunky, low-poly aesthetic in general, even though this game doesn't really do anything new or particularly interesting with it. There are some weird graphical errors at points, and something is distinctly wrong with the lighting in the game because it kept glitching in a pretty jarring way through my playthrough. And also, there's some weird choices, such as including these presumably pre-built grass assets that just do not blend well with the rest of the visuals. There's also some weird scaling issues, such as these houses being oddly small, as well as your car being a clown car. In terms of gameplay, walking simulators can be pretty bare bones. Work Trip has gameplay that includes walking around and finding things. It's not engaging or rewarding. The gameplay is also not propped up by any sort of unique or interesting story. There is essentially no story here, just quest givers, which leaves me feeling like I honestly barely played a game or even went through any sort of experience. It feels kind of like a class project to demonstrate that you can do all these things, build an environment, assign tasks, and navigate a 3D space, which, I mean, I can't do any of those things, but I'm not a game developer. Ultimately, the game is short. In total, it took me about 25 minutes to complete the story and unlock all the achievements. But hey, it was 50 cents. I could buy some stale candy from a machine or play this, and I guess I'd rather have this, but then again, I'd rather have a pressed penny instead of this game. So I guess that's my ranking. Better than stale candy, but I would save that money, get a pressed penny at a museum or a zoo anywhere near you that has one of those, fun, the crank machines. If I had to pick experiences, I'd probably go with the crank machine over this. Not to sound too harsh. But ultimately, if you're going to charge people money, you deserve to be criticized, especially when there's other, more engaging things that you can find for free on something like itch.io.
But if it's full price for $2, I'd rather get anything else from a vending machine for that amount, I guess. Like probably Reese's Cups or maybe a Kit Kat. Is this boomer talk? But when did vending machines get so expensive? Everything used to be $1 in these things. Am I getting old? Is this just what happens? Is this like milk used to be 5 cents a gallon type beat? Looking at the developers' other games, they all seem to be kind of the same thing. They could be really exploring the genre and improving their craft, but I just don't see anything that looks different enough to warrant giving them another try. I mean, this game literally has the same setup. It could be fun to play as a fox instead of a person in one of the walking simulators, but I think I'll look elsewhere if I'm ever compelled to try scratching that itch. I don't want to discourage this developer because, hey, they're making something, and they're not charging crazy prices.
So keep doing what you're doing, but try and challenge yourself to actually really improve. Make something that people can really take something away from and engage with. Find out what your strengths are and play to them. But ultimately, I just don't feel like I'm seeing any of that from the developer, so maybe someday I'll revisit your other games. But as far as Work Trip goes, it leaves me feeling like there's no point in checking out your other work yet. I hope you enjoy making this stuff, and I do hope you keep learning and improving.
But for now, I'm gonna go do something else. Like whatever this is. Okay, bye!